Chemistry Steakhouse here in Hyde Park is one of the first of many restaurants Chef Isaac Wavy Bradley helped to create. His family tells me another one of his passions was being a barber, and says he was doing just that before a mass shooting took his life.
He was tired. It was past midnight. All he had to do was go cut somebody's hair, get paid, and go home. That was it. No drama, no conflict, just a man doing what he always did, working. Isaac Wavy Bradley had built 5 restaurants from the ground up in one of the toughest cities in America. He had a 16-year-old son he lived for. He had a partner who called him a brother. He had a community that packed his tables every week just to be in the same room as him. And on the night of June 5th, 2026, none of that mattered to the 2 men who walked up and opened fire. If you are new here, hit that subscribe button right now. Tap the bell icon so you never miss an upload. And make sure you give this video a thumbs up. You are watching Shadow Crime, and we do not let these stories get buried. Now, let's talk about who Isaac Bradley actually was, because the headlines called him a chef and moved on. But Isaac was so much more than that. Chicago's South Side is not the easiest place to build a business. The odds are stacked against you from day one. Funding is harder to get. Foot traffic is unpredictable, and the neighborhood politics alone can shut you down before you even open your doors. Isaac knew all of that, and he built anyway. He co-owned Chemistry Chicago, a black-owned upscale steakhouse located in Hyde Park that became one of the most talked-about dining experiences on the South Side. This was not a corner spot. This was a full experience. People came in and left talking about it for weeks. His signature move at Chemistry was Tomahawk Tuesdays, where he would come out tableside with a torch in one hand and a long knife in the other, melting butter over a massive steak right in front of you. It was not just dinner. It was a show, and Isaac was a star of it every single time. But Chemistry was only one piece of what he was building. Alongside his business partner Eric Rico Nance, Isaac had his hands in Stussy's Diner, Lighthouse Whole Food Grill, Soul Shack, and Mickey's Retro Grill. 5 restaurants, 5 concepts, all of them rooted in the South Side community he loved. He had even appeared on WGN News to talk about Chemistry's Sunday Fun Day brunch, showing the whole city what was happening in Hyde Park. This was a man with a vision and the discipline to actually execute it. And through all of that, the one thing everybody who knew Isaac said the same thing about was not his food. It was his character. His sister Rena described him as someone who did not have a hateful bone in his body. His business partner said 10 to 12 years of friendship and brotherhood changed his life. The people who came through his restaurant said he made them feel like family. That is who was standing on Southwood Street that night.
Chemistry Steakhouse here in Hyde Park is one of the first of many restaurants Chef Isaac Wavy Bradley helped to create. His family tells me another one of his passions was being a barber, and says he was doing just that before a mass shooting took his life.
It's heartbreaking. It really is. And Isaac wasn't finished.
I remember when he first opened up this place.
Chicago's restaurant scene is now left in pieces.
So for me to be here without him, it doesn't seem like that's what it should be.
After the loss of Chef Isaac Wavy Bradley, who for years was one of its leading forces.
The community lost Isaac. We lost the future to restaurants.
And that tragic loss happened overnight during a mass shooting in the same neighborhood where Bradley was raised.
He was leaving from cutting someone's hair, from what I was told. And as he was leaving to go, shots rang out.
Bullets ripping through 51st and Wood in the back of the yards after Chicago police say 2 suspects approached a group and opened fire. Another man was also killed and 5 others injured.
I hear shots really bad. Last night was really crazy.
We started to work so well together and created brands like Lighthouse Whole Food Grill, Stussy's Diner, Chemistry, Soul Shack.
And his business partner Eric Rico Nance tells me the 2 were planning a big box store rollout for Bradley's so-called soul rolls.
We go into all of the Myers and the Krogers and Jewels and stuff like that all over. We were in our final meeting to finalize those things, actually this morning at 9 o'clock. But of course, we learned that he passed right before that meeting.
But his legacy is still left behind, though now in the hands of broken hearts.
Just walk with me. One more walk. One more conversation. Let me pick your brain again. Fuss at me like something. We don't get to get anything.
Crime Stoppers is now offering a $10,000 reward for any information leading to the arrest of those responsible. In Chicago's Hyde Park, I'm Trey Ward, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
So here's what you need to understand about that night, because the details matter and they change everything about how you see this case. It was just after midnight on June 5th, 2026. Isaac was not out partying. He was not hanging around causing trouble. His family was very clear about this when they spoke to the press. Isaac had gone to back of the yards, a neighborhood on Chicago's South Side, to cut someone's hair. That was his side hustle, on top of running multiple restaurants, on top of being a father, on top of everything else he was carrying. Isaac still found time to pick up extra work cutting hair, because that is just the kind of man he was. He did not sit still. He was always moving, always working, always showing up for somebody. Now think about that for a second. This man had 5 restaurants. He had just been on television talking about his business. He had a son at home. And he was still out past midnight cutting somebody's hair, because that is who Isaac Wavy Bradley was. A worker, a provider, a man who never stopped. So there he is, sometime after midnight, in the 5100 block of Southwood Street. A warm summer night in Chicago. A few small groups of friends and family are outside, just enjoying the evening. Nothing unusual, nothing aggressive. Just people outside on a summer night, the way people do in Chicago neighborhoods all across the city. And then 2 men walked up. No warning, no argument, no confrontation that escalated into something deadly. Just 2 men who approached the group and opened fire. Neighbor Brandon Gary was one of the people who witnessed what happened in the aftermath, and he described it in a way that is hard to forget. He said they came in and blew his head off, and there were probably 40 to 50 shell casings scattered around the scene. 40 to 50 shell casings. Let that number sit with you. That is not a stray bullet situation. That is not crossfire. That is a targeted, calculated, overwhelming amount of gunfire directed at a group of people standing outside on a summer night. When it was over, 7 people had been shot. 2 of them were dead. Isaac Wavy Bradley, 44 years old, was shot in the head, chest, and leg, and was transported to University of Chicago Medical Center, where he was pronounced dead. The other man killed was Lamar Butler, 31 years old, who was shot in the abdomen and pronounced dead at Mount Sinai Hospital. A 23-year-old woman was shot in the head and rushed to Stroger Hospital, where she remained in critical condition. For others ranging in age from 21 to 54 were also hit and transported to nearby hospitals. Brandon Gary, who grew up on that very block, said both Isaac and Lamar were upstanding men who had no enemies, none, and yet here we are.
When he was passionate about something or someone, he doesn't stop.
Many knew him as Chef Wavy, but for 44-year-old Isaac Bradley, his job came second to his role as dad.
Wavy, Chef Wavy was not just Chef Wavy. He was dad, he was brother, he was still my friend.
Bradley leaves behind a 16-year-old son.
It doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't. This is very senseless. It doesn't make sense to me.
He'd spearheaded multiple restaurants with partner Eric Rico Nance, including Stussie's Diner, Lighthouse Whole Food Grill, and Chemistry.
And we are so thankful to have the little piece that God gave us of him while we were upon this world, upon this earth. 10 to 12 years of friendship, of brotherhood, of partnership. He's changed and touched all of our lives.
Bradley was one of 2 people shot and killed in a mass shooting in back of the yards early this morning. His family says he'd stopped by someone's home to cut their hair, a side hustle he had.
That's what he did. Like, he was tired. He went to go cut someone's hair, and this happened.
The shooting just before midnight on the 5100 block of Southwood. Another man was shot and killed. 5 others, including 3 men and a woman, were wounded and are recovering. Their ages ranging from 21 to 54 years old. Police tell us 2 armed men are responsible, saying they approached a group of people standing outside and started firing.
Oh my gosh, I can really use one of his speeches about forgiveness, because I get, like, things happen. I get nothing is in our plan. You know, plans get monkey wrenches thrown in them all the time. But he used to always talk to me about that, and I don't see it right now.
There is a $10,000 reward posted by the Cook County Crime Stoppers for anyone that has information that could help lead to an arrest in this investigation. We still do not know the identity of the second man that also died in this mass shooting. Live in Hyde Park, Sabrina Franza, CBS News, Chicago.
Now here is where this case starts to weigh on you, and I need you to really stay with me for this part. The police and some neighbors floated the idea that this shooting may have been tied to gang tensions brewing in the back of the yards area. And look, that neighborhood has had its history. There was even a violence interrupter who spoke to ABC 7 and said that the block had already been flagged at a community meeting just 2 days before the shooting. He said they had literally just talked about that specific block on Wednesday at a CAPS meeting, discussing the late-night gatherings, the noise, the activity. So the area was already on the radar. But here is what nobody can reconcile. Isaac Bradley had no connection to any of that. He was not from that block. He was not part of whatever tensions were building there. He drove to back of the yards at night to cut somebody's hair and collect his money and go home. His family made that crystal clear. His sister Rena stood in front of cameras and said it plainly. He was tired. He wanted to cut someone's hair. And this happened. So the question that keeps coming back is this. If the shooting was gang-related, why is a 44-year-old restaurant owner and father dead? Was he caught in the middle of something he had absolutely nothing to do with? Or was there something more specific going on that night that the community has not yet spoken openly about? Because 40 to 50 shell casings is not a random spray. That level of firepower suggests that whoever pulled those triggers came to that block with a very specific purpose, and that 23-year-old woman who was shot in the head and rushed to Stroger Hospital in critical condition. We do not even know her name yet. We do not know if she survived. We do not know what she saw before those bullets started flying. She could be the most important witness in this entire case, and right now she is fighting for her life. Cook County Crime Stoppers stepped up and put a $10,000 reward on the table for information leading to an arrest. Activist Jamal Green also went to social media and personally put up $5,000 of his own money. So there is $15,000 sitting out there for anyone willing to come forward. And still, as of right now, no arrests have been made. No suspects have been named. 2 gunmen walked up, destroyed multiple lives, and disappeared into the night. Eric Rico Nance, Isaac's business partner and brother in every way that counts, said something that has stayed with me. He said they were grateful for the 10 to 12 years of friendship, of brotherhood, of partnership. He said Isaac changed and touched all of their lives. And Isaac's sister Rena said she could really use one of his speeches about forgiveness right now, because Isaac was the kind of man who believed in that. He preached it, and now the people who loved him most are the ones who have to find a way to live it without him. So I want to leave you with some questions today, because this case is not closed and this story is not over. Why would 2 men walk up to a peaceful group of people on a summer night and unleash 40 to 50 rounds? If this was gang-related, how does a tired chef who drove across town to cut hair end up dead? Who called Isaac to that block that night? And do they know something they have not said? And what happens to that 16-year-old son who just lost his father? A man who put being a dad above everything else he built. Isaac Wavy. Bradley spent his life building something real in a city that does not make that easy. 5 restaurants, a community that loved him, a son he was raising, and it was taken in seconds by people who are still out there walking free. If you know anything about what happened on Southwood Street on the night of June 5th, 2026, please reach out to Cook County Crime Stoppers at 1-800-535-STOP or go to tip.com. Your tip can be completely anonymous. There's a $15,000 reward waiting. And if this story moved you, if you believe Isaac deserves justice, do something simple right now, like this video. Share it, drop a comment below, and tell me what you think happened that night. And if you are not subscribed to Shadow Crime yet, now is the time. Hit that subscribe button and click the bell so you never miss when we cover cases like this one. These stories matter. These lives matter. And we are not going anywhere.